going to assume that you are an FDC, which is a Fire Direction Center, and you have a forward observer observing the target that you are wanting to shoot at. So we're going to be looking at this from both perspectives. First off, the observers. Due to the recent deforestation in the island of Ireland, the observer has gained visual on an enemy garrison next to the church in Beauregard. As we can see, there is the back of a armored personnel carrier, command post, and a bunch of scattered infantry and machine gun positions. From here, he's going to call over the net a few things. For that, it is recommended that you have some form of notes and writing material, and a calculator. Since we don't want to say exactly where we are, unless it's a polar mission, we're going to give the grid of the target position, the altitude, and the direction in mils. If you don't know what mils are, they are the black numbers on the outer ring of your protractor and of your compass. They are in 1,000, so 50, that is going to be 5,000. And all those tiny notches, those are 20. So we've been blessed by having a nice even number of 50, which is 5,000. So I don't have the full transmission written down, but more or less, grid is going to be 0311 0273. If you don't know how to get an 8-digit grid coordinate, you're going to use a tool called a protractor. It's this little thing right up here on the top left of your screen. How we use it is we line it up as such to the grid to the left of the target. Then we are going to slide it to the right until the vertical line goes over the target. So in this case, this would be roughly a 10-digit grid coordinate, but we don't want that. We want to get an 8-digit. So we're going to keep on going until it goes over the 1 hash. So for here, we have 0311 0273. So grid 0311 0273, altitude 15, and then our direction is going to be 5,000. So after we get this transmission, we are going to do some basic adding and subtracting. For the US, we use 6,400. For the Russians, they use just 600. Not 600, sorry, 6,000. So since we're US here, kind of like how you would get your back azimuth with degrees, we're just going to convert that over to mils. So if it's over 32, then that means you need to subtract by 32. In this case, 32 is 3,200. So we're going to take out our calculator and we're going to input that formula. So 5,000 minus 3,200, that gives us 1,800. So we're going to go ahead and put the center dot on the target area. We're going to zoom out and press N or the pencil key. We're going to click on 50, and we're going to go over to 18. The reason why we do this is because this is the observer target line. This is where we're going to be aiming. So, say the observer sees our rounds hit by this pub up here, he can adjust shift left 100, more or less. So, this is how you do an adjust fire mission. Since we aimed right here, the rounds hit too far up here, we now need to shift our line of fire off to the observer's left, which is going to be down here. So now, from the FDC's point of view, we're right here. This is a known target. If you're going to mark your position, make sure when you are drawing your line, you are fully zoomed in. So now we need to get our line going directly onto the target point. That gives us a heading of 1610 mils. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down in our writing material. Now that's written down, we need to get our range to the target. Since it's in more or less a direct, straight east, we don't need to rotate the protractor. If you need to rotate it, use middle mouse button, and if you need to recenter it, double click middle mouse button. So as you can see there, we have 1,000, 2,000, alright, our range here is going to be 2,150. So for the basic ranging, it's going to be in increments of 100. So we're going to need to do some more math to get this target. So we're going to take out our ballistic computer, our ballistic range table. I'm playing 2-inch Arma 3. If you don't know where to find it in the arsenal, it's going to be in here if you have a composition built up. So as you can see here, for 3 rings, we have 21 and we have 22. So 21 is 999 and 22 is 931. We're now going to need to do some subtraction. So we're going to do 999 minus 931. That gives us 68. Now we are going to do 68 divided by 2. That gives us 34. Now that we have that, we are going to do 999 minus 34. That gives us an elevation of 965. Go ahead and write that down as well. So, refer to the top right, we have a dispersion range of 33. As long as it's within that range, rounds are on target. So if we keep the same deflection and elevation, our rounds will eventually hit their target. We keep firing. You have a time of flight of roughly 26 seconds. If you're going to count in your head, do it in 1000s. So 1001, 1002, 1003. Now we're going to grab our rounds. This case is going to be HE. Since we have 3 rings, we're going to want to use 3 rings. Just because it says 3 rings in the gun, that doesn't mean you have 3 rings on your rounds. You need to make sure you manually input that. My apologies, my recording just stopped working. So I'm going to go ahead and input that again for you. So we have 1610 0965 mils. Restock on ammo. We're going to fire 4 rounds to see where those rounds hit. So now let's go to our observer's point of view, who has managed to turn invisible. So we're going to place a new one. So we just want to hit the church. Time flight's 26 seconds, as I said before. Round should hit in about 5-ish seconds. As you can see there, rounds are on target. It may not be a perfect hit on the church, but it's close enough. Say we want to get precise rounds on target. The direction is correct, but in this case, we need to add by 2.5. So we're going to need to do some more math. So go ahead and get your calculator. Since we just fired and it hit way over, not way over, sorry, a little bit over, we're now going to need to do a add drop formula. So in this case, we want to drop by 20. So we're going to type in 20. Then we are going to times that by the original range. Unfortunately, I did not write it down, but I remember it. It is 2115. So 2,150. And then divide that by 1,000. That gives us 43. we're now going to do 43 divided by 2. That gives us 21. So now we are going to add 21.5 to our 965, which gives us the answer of 986. Go ahead and write that down. So, since we're doing this from a Game Master perspective, I know where my rounds are going to be going at the target line. So, since those hit over, the observer will say add, since he sees it go over here. My rounds are not hitting the target. So, we now need to aim up here, since he said add. This is drop, right, left. Rounds hit over here. He wants us to add by 2-0. So now we are going to aim right here. So same direction, just higher mills. Let's go back to the mortar. So we're going to line to 1610, and now we need to aim at 986 for elevation. I'm gonna grab our rounds, and then we're gonna fire again. And these rounds should be on target. Appears that our original observer reappeared, but he's more than likely going to be bugged, so we're not going to fuck with him. As you can see right there, rounds are spot on target. So if we fire for effect, which would just be firing how many rounds the observer asked for, or a set amount, we would eventually destroy the target as a whole. But that's essentially how you use it. You're not going to be perfect because you watched a video made by an amateur. Go ahead and test it yourself. You can test it on the experimental branch of Arma Reforger. As of right now, only on Steam. Can't do it on console. I'm sure it will be soon to come. Thanks for watching this horribly designed guide. Hope it's useful for you. Have a great day.